Good afternoon, everyone. This is Luis Guaman, and we have Mark Rankine here for Putting in the Work podcast. Super excited to be here. We also have our guest right here, Junior Jimenez. He's a brilliant videographer and photographer, a great artist. That's what we're going to go over today.
Yeah, awesome. So Junior, you and I have known each other for like what, 7 years?
7 years.
7 amazing years. And I have to tell you right now, like this man is the epitome of, might I say, self-made, self-taught, the entire thing. So basically, Junior, what Put in the Work podcast or Putting Work podcast is really about is that we want to give a platform to young and upcoming Gen Y, Gen X, millennials, might I say, we want to set them up for success in terms of running their own company and sales and leadership. As someone who worked side by side with you for many years and have been in multiple capacities as just your friend, as a mentor, and now you're like this mega superstar. Like, what we want to get is like how you developed that mindset, how you got from where you were, kind of not sure what direction to go to, like having this hyper focus and being in demand as you are right now. So take us kind of through like your trajectory, like how did you start out and exactly what is it that you do?
That's a pretty wide question to go through, but honestly, it started since I was like a little kid, like probably like since I could remember, like maybe 6-7 years old. I remember I used to like draw, right? I wasn't that nice, so trays on top of things. Where you there, Mark? In spirit, huh?
I've seen some of the stuff.
But yeah, I used to like trays over things or whatever when I was a little kid, and then my passion for the arts were like always a thing. And I remember growing up. Then when I hit the age of 10, I came to the United States, which I eventually ended up tatting that day to keep me grounded. But yeah, I came to the United States when I was 10 years old. Started
from where?
Dominican Republic.
Hey.
Yeah. So I came from there, and I remember started elementary school. Then graduated from there, went into middle school. And middle school was when it really like popped off. Where my art teacher at the time like loved me, right? Because I used to do anything that had to do with abstract art, like whether that was from writing poems or like art or like. And so.
Do you remember Jackson Pollock was a huge influence?
Jackson Pollock is like the biggest inspiration I've ever had in life, and so that's to this day it's the person who motivates me because he revolutionized the abstract world back in the 1970s, and so it was amazing. So like I took my art from there. I remember I used to like draw all types of things, especially like art that was really like similar to Jackson Pollock's. And so I remember when I graduated middle school, I went into high school. And then high school, I didn't have the same flexibility to draw or like just go to my art teacher's room and just like do whatever I wanted, you know what I'm saying? And so it got really tough.
Sure.
Things got tough, like, back in the house too. And it was really difficult, right? And so I wanted to still find like a way to express myself and, kind of like be able to still create art, right? And so I remember I was like, man, like I want to buy a camera.
Yeah.
And so I was like, how can I, like my question to myself was like, how can I take my art, right, from like drawing on canvas to a way that it can be portable, right, and where I can continue to create on the go. And so a camera was, I remember I bought my first camera, I saw it on a newspaper. It said that it was $559, right, with 99 cents. And so I remember I got paid for my job. Crazy thing, I used to live in Yonkers, go to school in Manhattan, and work in Brooklyn. So I was like...
That's work.
Yeah, that was work. So I remember I got like 3 paychecks into my job at the time. I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to save up. And I saved up. I go to Best Buy with $560 on the dot.
You're like on it.
On it. I was like, yo, like that's it, I'm going today. And I had not one more penny. And I was like all I had, and I was going to give it in. And I went to Best Buy, and I show up, and I tell the guy, like, I show him, I ripped up the piece of paper from the newspaper that it had like the sale on, and I showed it. I was like, yeah, I want this camera. And so the guy goes, oh, okay, cool, no problem. So he takes it out, whatever. He goes, it's gonna be $690 something. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what do you mean? Like, 690.
Yeah.
He was like, oh no, because it's 560, but with tax, is whatever.
So you didn't factor in the tax at all.
I was not counting on that. So I was like,
It's a thing in America.
Apparently, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm like, you know what? Okay, whatever. So I was like, man, like I really want this camera. He was like, oh, but we have this one. I was like, but I want that one. And so it was the same thing. It was a kid. It had 2 lenses and whatnot. And so I was like, you know what? Cool. I'm gonna go with that. And it was $552 for like 60 cents. I remember
So
that.
right under the 560 that you went with.
Right. So I was like $8 to get back home probably. So then, that was the thing, and I bought my camera. I remember I started shooting everything. Friends, family, and my local church, and a whole bunch of stuff. And so it got to the point where I started doing weddings, started doing engagement shoots, and it became more than a hobby, right? Because it was my way of expressing myself, and then it became a platform in which I can make money.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
But I want to pause you right there. So you got the camera, you started shooting people, and then you started doing weddings and all this other stuff. That's a massive jump, because I know a lot of people with DSLR cameras, and they can't get work. How is it that you were able to get work almost like right out the gate?
Well, one, perception is reality, right? And then 2, you are as good as your last job, right? That's what they say.
Sure.
But then again, everything has to do with personality, right? Like, if all you care is about making money, you're not gonna make money. You're dead. Like, if you buy a camera with the expectations of making money, dead.
Okay.
Why? Because you're gonna have them. You're gonna walk into this is what a lot of people do. They buy a DSLR camera, right? And they walk into the business with the mentality of, I just want to make money. So if somebody reaches out to me, I'm gonna give them a price. If they can afford that price, then I won't work with them.
I can't agree with you more.
Because
really about business, it's about what you want to express to somebody, and really introducing the fact why that person should care about it,
Right.
and why they should get involved with the product or service you're talking about, or buy your
right.
art.
And it's
That's
like
great.
the service, right? Like, for example, for me, it was always, I want to treat each and every single client the same. If I charge you $600, or if I charge you $100, like, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna treat you with the same amount of respect and the same amount of.
That reminds me of something too, because for Mark, he runs a fashion consulting firm. I work within sales and leadership and things of that nature. I run a firm with that.
Right.
And you're an awesome photographer, awesome videographer. What Mark and I really care about is really how we want to help people out, and the things that we're focusing on now, fashion and leadership and sales, how we can get people to express themselves better within those definitive fields.
Right.
For you and all artists, what you do is you really focus on what you want to express and how to have other people really feel what that is.
Exactly.
So what is it within your work that you're looking to express out to people?
Well, this is a question that I always used to ponder on, because I didn't know why I was doing photography, right? I remember I was sitting in my room one time and I was like, man, like, why do I do it? Because people kept asking me, like, yo, why got you into photography? I was like, oh, I just love, taking photos. And, like, that was always my answer. And then one day I was like, man, like, that answer's so, like, cliche.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
right?
It's like, it's so broad, right? Like, anybody can tell you that. And so I remember editing on a specific photo, and it was just 2 ladies. They were hugging each other, right? This was at my local church, and one of the ladies was crying. And so I remember looking at the photo, and I was like, man. And then I understood why I did photography, and that was because I loved being able to bring a memory of a lifetime to people and see their reaction.
That's dope. That is cool.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you could, for example, if I tell you, go 5 years back and think of where you were in the one on your house, right? And you can say a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then I'll bring you a photo of you 5 years back. It's gonna bring you so much more memories.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that your memories are in your subconscious, right? So when you think about it, there's only so much you can grab, right? And then when you see a physical copy of, like, a photo of that specific event, you're looking at it and you're like, man, this and this and this was happening, and then such and such person was behind me, and da da da. You know what I'm saying? It's just like so much that you can. It's like bringing the story back to life. You know what I'm saying? So I understood that that's what I wanted to do, whether that was in video or whether that was in photo. I wanted to be able to bring that to people, to have that flexibility.
And how long ago was that from whence you started?
When I started photography,
Yeah, photography.
5 years ago.
And so right now, would you say that you're a great photographer?
Honestly, it's always a learning process. So I
It's
wouldn't.
always a learning process.
Right, like it's like you can never be too good, right?
Sure.
Because I could be great and think that I'm great, and somebody can come and be like, yo, I'm better than you. And that could be a fact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't be mad at that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that your work is, you have to value your work for yourself, right? And consider like, I am good enough, right? Like at all times, whether somebody else is better than you or not, because truth is that it all comes down to your personal style, to your personal taste, right? Because you can have 5 different fashion photographers, and they all might shoot different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a certain amount of group might think like, yo, this one is better, that one is better, and this one is better. And then it's all a matter of preference, right?
So here's my thing. Like for me, I'm not the smartest person in any room. So for me, I like very simple, practical. Like what do I do tomorrow? So my question to you is this: you have just supersede all expectations. You exceeded your own expectation. You're like, oh my God, look at me! I can like charge whatever I want. How does one get a camera? Network, like talk to me about the networking process, because I feel like that has a lot to do with
Take
it.
risk.
Take me step by step,
Take risk.
like how someone can like go from nowhere, I don't know anything, to where you are.
Take risk. Take risk. That's what I tell people. Like, don't be afraid to mess up.
Okay.
Because the moment you try to walk in a perfect line, you've already failed. When you, in the industry of entertainment, there is never a solid thing. What I mean by that is like,
No like straight path.
there's no straight path, because you could work with somebody, right, and then be like, oh my God, like I'm about to blow up from here, and go straight back down.
Yep.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Have
Or
you seen
can,
this?
I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. Like I've gone to places where I'm like, yo, this is it. Next thing you know, ooh. You know what I mean? And then that all comes down because I understood. I was like, yo, like, all right, cool. Like from here it's gonna take off. So then I'll lay back, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna take off, Tim.
That's because it's never just one thing.
And it goes right back down.
It's always a consecutive, just little things that come together.
Right.
A different kind of skill that you have, and the
Right.
networking that you have, and the consistent work that you do on a daily basis or weekly basis.
Yeah.
And then how it really continues making something that's continuous, right?
Right.
Exactly like you said. A lot of people do that, whether they're new or out of school, or whether they're 40, 50, 60 plus. When they start feeling comfortable, they start getting lazy. They start getting lazy. They start having less results.
Right.
And then less results you have, and less you start thinking that you're not as great, and then everything goes downhill, right?
100%.
And you experience this.
And then experiences, for example, I'll give you an example. Like a lot of people are afraid to take risks, right? Because they're afraid of what the outcome is going to be, right? Because, for example, never assume. In this business, you can't assume.
Okay.
You just can't assume what's going to happen. Like, I mean, take calculated risk, right?
Sure.
But for example, like if there's some, I'll give you an perfect example. I remember this was back in like April, right? No, actually it goes back to November. So this is an artist named Russ, right? I love Russ. Like Russ is like one of my favorite artists of all times, right? I remember I found him because I was listening to one of Khalid.
DJ Khaled?
No, not DJ Khaled.
Oh, Khalid.
Khalid's video. And I remember I was listening to Young, Dumb, and Broke, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, me, my life.
That's
And then I came across Russ, and then it was a really dope video, and I was like, man, like, who shot this? Then I went and I saw the name of the person. It was Edgar Stevis, right?
Okay.
I followed him on Instagram. I saw all his work. I was like, man, this guy's a genius.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, wow, like this dude is a genius. And I was like, man, and I made a proposition to myself. I was like, I want to work with this guy one day, right? And so I remember I started following him on Instagram, and one day he put like how he went from where he was at to where he is now, right, on his storyline on Instagram, and I was like, and I DM'd him, I was like, yo, man, I got nothing but respect for you. And then he hit me back, and it was like, man, like, wow, thank you so much, like your photos are dope, da da da, and I was like, oh, that's gold to me, you know what I'm saying? So, because I'm pretty sure he knows way more photographers that are way doper than me, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, for him to say that, I was like, I took that to heart, and I was like, man, I'm gonna carry that.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, man, I would love to like shadow you whenever you're in New York or whatever. He was like, well, we got to shoot, man, da da da. And it went from there, and so he gave me his number, and then I hit him up, and we were supposed to meet up. He's based in LA, so we were supposed to meet up. So this was in November. In December, we were supposed to meet up in LA when I went with my girlfriend. Sure. And so that didn't happen, right? I thought it was gonna be like the biggest thing ever, right, for me, like, cause I was excited, and that didn't happen.
Wow.
And then I was like, man, but I still took a risk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And then, like, in April, this is 4 months later, he put something in his story about, like, you know, he was gonna shoot a music video in Miami. And I was like, man, I'm going. And he was like, oh, looking for PAs, you know, and the whole 9 yards, he was looking for assistants. And I was like, man, like, I want to go and do BTS photos.
Sure.
So I hit him up and I was like, yo, bro, I'd love to come. He's like, oh, are you in Miami? I was like, no, I'm in New York, but I'll come out.
But I'll be in Miami.
Yeah. And then he goes, nah, man, you don't need to do that. And I was like, nah,
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna do
do.
that.
Yes,
Like,
I
I'm
do.
gonna
Yeah.
go. And so this is a risk. I was like, yo, I'll pay for my flight. I'll pay for all my stuff. Like, don't worry about it. I was gonna go, boom, and fly back the same day.
That's legit.
So
That's legit.
I went, right? I flew in, and he was like, all right, bet, talk to my producer. So I talked to his producer. He gave me all the details. I flew in, right? I flew in the morning. The shoot was like at 7 at night, and I got in at 11. So I was at the airport editing for like 6 hours.
Wow.
Then I took Uber to the location. And then I show up to the location, you know, he's busy. He's like, you know, setting up everything, making sure that, like, you know, everything is ready before the artist comes. And so the artist comes, point being, like, I start shooting mad BTS photos. I did video and photo at the same time.
Okay.
And I was like, I was going at it, boom, 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 boom. And then I went to my laptop for like 30 minutes, edited all the photos, put a preset on it, and then showed it to the artist. And the artist was like, this is a Martin, man.
Yeah.
He was like, yo,
Wait, who was the
this
artist?
is madness. His name is Fuse.
Okay.
He's a London-based artist.
Mhm.
And so, you know, this guy's like, yo, this is crazy, Like, yo, thank you so much, right? And so, at the end of they wrapped up like at 12. There were like 2 other BTS photographers there, right? And it's a long story, but I'm gonna cut it right here. So there were a whole bunch of other photographers. They left. They're like, oh, cool, thank you for that. They went up to Edgar. They're like, thank you for having me. I was like, yo, I'm gonna pick up cables. I'm gonna broom, like the drawer, whatever I gotta do, right? I'm gonna stay till the end because I care about this. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the night, I go up to him. I was like, yo, bro, thank you for having me or whatever. And I was like, yo, I'm Junior, the dude that, because I didn't really talk to him throughout the whole shoot.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't
Wow.
even interact with him. I took like 2 or 3 photos of him while we were at the shoot, but we didn't really like, you know, so he doesn't know who I
He
am
didn't
yet.
realize it was you from before?
No, he doesn't know who I am at the point. So then I go up to him at the end of the night, he's like, oh, you're that dude from New York, And I was like, yeah, bro. And he was like, oh, that's dope. And then, I don't know, one way or the other, they like started talking about another shoot they have the next day, a flight. And I'm like, oh, where are you guys going? And then he's like, we're going to Puerto Rico, you want to come there too? And then he's sitting in a joking way, he's like, oh, like, you came here, now you want to go there too? And I was like, well, yeah, what's up? I was like, I'm looking for flights right now. And then he looked at me, he was like I had 3 eyes. He was like, yo, you serious? And I was like, yeah, what's up? Let's go. And then I looked at the flight, I was like, you guys leave at 7 a.m. American Airlines? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what's up? I just don't have any place to stay or any clothes. And
Oh my God.
he's like, you know what? I like your hustle. I'll
That's
pay for
great.
your flight and I'm gonna cover all your expenses.
Oh,
that's
You're
great.
coming to Puerto Rico with us.
That's legit.
Are you serious?
Flew me out to Puerto Rico the next day. And I was like, yo, I took a risk. Then I ended up in Puerto Rico. We were there for 4 days. We shot another music video for the same artist. The dude loved the photos.
Wow.
That day he told Edgar, he was like, yo man, I want the guy to shoot actual photo shoot in Puerto Rico
Oh,
of
wow.
me. I'm gonna pay him. And then Edgar hooked it up. He's like, yo, you gotta give him a little something, boom, 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 boom. And then I got paid. I didn't expect to get paid, but I did. And I still took a risk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it was a calculated risk because I went, you know what I'm saying? Because it was something that I wanted
Is that what separates you?
from everybody else.
Wow.
Because truth is that like there's a lot of opportunities that and truth is like you have, and this is something that I say a lot, you have to create your own opportunities, right? Like you can't expect somebody to, just because you're great and you have talent does not mean, you know what I'm saying, that somebody should come to you and be like, yo, I'm gonna give you the job.
Right. You know what gets a lot of the way,
Wisdom.
a lot of time, is the mentality that people have.
Yeah, man.
Because you know we have the camera, cool. I'm gonna go to Best Buy, get a camera, we can get this and that, some lights, and then people never think that they're good enough to actually take action in the first place. And I'm a very big, that is a big thing. When I consult people on and when I actually give advice, that's just what gets in the way of people most, the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So a little bit to my question of what I asked before, of, do you think you're great? I personally think you're great. I've seen a few of your
Appreciate
things.
that.
We're gonna shout you out, whatever, social media and websites after at the end also. That's just, you guys should work, whoever's out there should work with you. That's great. But the fact is that there's up and coming people, and us three, and everybody in this room who's also helping out, has felt like they were not good enough to pursue what they wanted because of some kind of mental blockage. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story about that? Because there is something about
So I am Christian, right? And so like a lot of the stuff that I do, like it's always like God led, right? Like I want to be able to like please God at the same time and like, you know, do what I have to do and not just like take like just whatever decisions, right? And so but at the end of the day, like there's this book I was reading, I still have to finish. I'm bad at reading, but it's called The 10 Hollywood Commandments, right? And
Hollywood
Commandments. Yeah, I forgot the name of the guy, but we could put it on the video later. I don't know, but yeah. So he said something like one of the things that spoke out to me the most is like if you pray for it, prepare for it. Right? Like you can't just pray for something.
You got to be ready to do something about it.
Yeah, and like prepare yourself in the process because let's say an opportunity comes, right? And you don't know crap, then it's like, oh, they're gonna move on to the next person real quick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like if you are, the opposite of that is like if you're praying, like you pray for it, right? Now you're preparing for it. Now you're reaching out, right? It's this is difference. You know what I'm saying? If you're reaching out without knowing or not, knowledge is power, right? So it's like you have to prepare yourself for that, right? And so as far as
What's the saying to that? Preparation plus opportunity equals success.
Yeah.
equal success,
That's
yeah.
the one.
Yeah. So
That's exactly it. Yeah.
so like a lot of the stuff that like stopped me a lot of the times is that I didn't think I was good enough, or like I didn't think I had the proper equipment. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, man, like this dude has the latest camera. I remember having equipment. I used to want to borrow somebody else's equipment to get certain jobs done because I didn't feel like I would get, you know, I wanted to give the best quality at all times. But then again, it was like, man, you got to take ownership of where you are. You know what I'm saying? And what you have. And perfect it. Because at the end of the day, in like the whole camera and like video, like world, like it's all about creativity.
Yeah.
Like if you're not creative, then it's just like you can have the latest camera and not create anything. But like that's one of the things that stopped me the most. Like like thinking that I didn't have the latest camera or the latest equipment. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out with what I have. You know
So
what I'm saying?
that goes to my next kind of question. Because you've got to have the right mentality. Okay,
Right.
cool. We got your story on that. And next goes to technical skills that people build so they can just shoot out more creativity.
Right.
So maybe there's a little bit of a big question, but okay, we'll get that. That's fine. Maybe a little bit of a big question. It's New York. It's whatever. But what do you think is better in terms of learning? Going to school, going to film school, going to learn your courses, photography, or being self-taught? Now I know personally you are self-taught. I know some other really cool people that they took the courses and things like that. But you got some great stuff going on. So let me just hear your opinion.
Honestly, I don't judge nobody, right? Like if you went to school and you did that, and you had to spend some money and you're in debt, then cool.
Oh,
But
burn!
I'm just saying. But you know, like me, the reason why I ended up being self-taught was because I didn't have the opportunities that other people have. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have the opportunity to just go to school and be at peace. You know what I'm saying? Go to college and the whole nine yards, right? Like I didn't have that flexibility because of like my background and like my family and like a whole bunch of other issues, right? So I had to find a way to be able to learn and be at the level that I wanted to be. And I was just on YouTube, learning a whole bunch of stuff, right? And then I was learning things that I didn't necessarily need to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember being on Photoshop and just messing around with a whole bunch of graphic design stuff. And I was like, man, like, I just want to mess around. I just want to create. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this passion in me, and I was like, man, like, I just want to create. So it's like, because knowledge is power, right? I ended up, like, doing a whole bunch of, I remember I started, like, messing around with Photoshop and graphic design, like, maybe 8 months ago.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing cover arts for people, for artists. I ended up, like, doing, I remember I just did a piece of art for the inside of a suit for a basketball player.
Okay. That's
and
insane.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I've never even heard of that before. That's
it's insane. You know what I'm saying? And it was like there was so many stuff that I did right that then brought me business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it goes back to the question that we had before, where it was just like, you know, what differentiates me from other people, right? Like, do everything, right? But don't be a jack of all trades and a master of none either. You know what I'm saying? Like, master one thing, right? And then go into the next, and then go into the next. But learn a bit at a time, because you never know what you're gonna need for whatever job you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not perfect and sound when it comes down to video. I'm not perfect, but I know basics. I know certain things that I need to know. You know what I'm saying? In order to like get it going at least. You know what I'm saying? So.
So you developed your own style.
I did, man. I think that being self-taught is good because truth is, bro, like everything is out there in the internet. Like
That's the key.
everything is out there.
The key.
Nah,
There's no secrets anymore.
there's no like you either go and watch it and spend 3 hours watching something that's gonna benefit your future, or spend 3 hours on Netflix.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
It's like
That's what
it's
it
like,
comes down to.
It comes down to priority, man. And it's sometimes we're lazy to do it. Sometimes it's like, nah, like I don't wanna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like, nah, like I don't need to learn that, right? Or like I'll just learn when I'm just waiting for that one opportunity that's gonna take me to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And then like I'll do it, and it's like, nah, like.
So check this out. Now I want you to stick with me, Jay. I want you to be like really hone in on what I'm about to like my line of thought right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of history clearly, and I know.
You got emotional in a second.
I do, bro. I'm like a mess over here. I'm kind of like reminiscing on like all the challenges and stuff. And I mean, I know a lot of the inside details, but I just want you to share a little bit, like, just No, I don't want you can't get sappy on me right now. Like that's me. All right. So because then it's gonna be uneven. All right. So just a little because I work with a lot of people in terms of like mentorship, and people come up to me and they say, Mark, you know, I have these big dreams and goals, but I'm being held back by these things. And it's like legit things. It's not like they're bitching. You know, it's like real fucking like they're going through shit. And you can't say to someone who's going through like a real tragedy in their life, like suck it up and get over it and move on. You know, you can't. Right. But there are some people who have been able to like figure it out and like really press on and move on. So can you talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you've gone through? Like, yeah, as you know, like you decide how deep you want to go.
All right, so my mom and my dad separated before I was even born.
Sure.
Then growing up when I came here, right? So I'm throwing it back a little bit. When I did come here, my mom got sick like 2 years after we were here. She was diagnosed with Huntington chorea, which is a rare disease that affects your immune system. It affects your balance. It affects your nerve system. It you get side effects of like amnesia and like then like your speech, right? So my mom at this point, she's at the point where she can't speak, so you can't understand her when she's trying to speak to people, and then she can't really move, and so that was a really big challenge because of that happening, right? We ended up living with my grandmother, and then I had to work at a local supermarket when I was 13 years old, packing bags, trying to like, you know, support myself. You know what I'm saying? And then my sister was here at the time with us too, but then she got like married and, you know, went away, and was living with her boyfriend and then her son, right? And so a couple years after that, right? Like, so this is like tough. At this time, I had to start working, right? Then a little later down the line, my mom got worse, and then I remember my mom, we had to like put her in a home. And that was tough. Then I ended up, my grandmother kicked me out. And then I couldn't live with my grandmother because she wanted me to pay her rent when I was like 14 years old. And I was like, man, like I'm trying to make money for myself. And, you know, and so that was tough. Then I ended up living with my sister and my little nephew in Yonkers and my little niece. That's where I met Mark, actually. And so that was crazy because then my sister fell into cocaine. And my sister was like my guardian. Like I'm like at this time I'm like 15, 16 years old, and she was like, she's 30 now, so I'm 23.
25.
Yeah, so she was like 25. So at the time, my sister got into cocaine and stuff, and then ended up like losing her kids. Got taken away by the state.
Wow.
Then when that happened, my sister, one way or the other, blamed it on me. Kicked me out of my house when I was living with her, where I was like helping her pay rent and stuff, and so then I was homeless for like 2 weeks. After that, like it was tough because I came here, right, like for a better life and kind of like revamp myself, and then seeing like my dad is in DR. I haven't seen my dad in like at this point like in 6 years. My mom got sick. I can't count on my mom, right, to pay the bills and or like live under her roof. My sister just kicked me out. her nephews got taken away by the state. I'm homeless. I'm in the streets. I'm still going to school.
How old were you at this time?
I'm like 17.
That's
So I'm going to school, and I'm living in. At this point, like I'm homeless in Yonkers, going to school in Manhattan, and working in Brooklyn. So this is like all messed up, and that's when I just recently got like gotten into church. So then for like those first 2 weeks, it was I didn't know where to go because I couldn't go to my family because my family was so hypocrite, and that's like the side of the family that kind of like kicked me out, and it was just a really whole mess. And then it got to the point where one of my buddies from church was like, "Yo, bro, like I have a feeling like something going on," and I was like, "Yeah, like this and that and the third." And so then he's like, "Yo, man, stay with me." So I stayed with him and his mom and his brother and his little sister, and his mom trusted me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a grown man, quote unquote, 17 years old, like living in a house where there's already an entire family, and so they welcomed me in, and that was super helpful. And so then from there it was tough. You know what I'm saying? It was tough because mentally and emotionally it was blocking me from wanting to continue going forward. But I was like, man, like, am I gonna live the rest of my life feeling sorry for myself? You know what I'm saying? Like,
plenty people do.
yeah,
Plenty
and it's just
people
like you can't try to be the victim in your situations, right? Like you have to look at it from the perspective, and this is the difference between somebody who succeeds and somebody who doesn't. If you stay your whole life feeling sorry for yourself and being like, no, I can't reach certain things because such and such and such, well then let such and such and such go. You know what I'm saying? And focus on yourself. It's not mean like sometimes you have to be selfish. Like sometimes you have to be selfish in order to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish and get to the level where you want to be, right? And then welcome people little by little back into your life. Because when you live your life based on the opinions and decisions of other people, it's always going to come back on you, affect you, and then affect whoever else it is that you're with, if you're with somebody, right? Like that happened to me and my girlfriend. Like after all this stuff happened, I was living on my own and I'm doing my thing, I'm pursuing my career, and I'm doing photography and video full time and all this stuff. My sister came back into my life. She was like, hey, look, I don't have nowhere to go.
Wow.
I'm in cocaine, I'm depressed, a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, you know what, come and live with me. I took her in, you know what I'm
The
saying?
opener taking her back.
Yeah, but then she started doing cocaine. She sold my laptop, my equipment and stuff, for cocaine. And so it was a lot of stuff, right? Like this stuff happens, right? With people who are like going through it, right? And so then it was affecting my relationship because those decisions, it was like it's affecting me, and because it's affecting me, I'm reacting a certain way to my significant other, and then they're like, yo, like you gotta let it go. You know what I'm saying? So like those were like my obstacles as far as like me as a person
and keep following me. So you have this like presence around you where most people who have gone through a tenth of what you've been through, they become very cynical, like, fuck the world, it's just me, I'm doing me, like everybody else to the side, I don't trust anyone, I don't like anyone because people are all garbage. How is it that you're still able to be like this large-hearted, trusting, loving, caring, kind? Like I brought you in to help out our guys, our production team, and you were able to just like step in and say, hey guys, I will help you. And for nothing, like I asked you as a friend to, can you help me with the production? And you were like, of course, I'll and I'll teach them and I'll show them. And you were like, oh, I have this equipment, do you want me to lend you the... How is it that you still have that? How is it that you're not jaded or cynical?
Not everybody's the same. And not every single day is the same. And truth is
so some days you like, fuck you.
No, not that.
I think it's everybody.
No, but what I'm saying is like, you can never base your present in your past. But you can never judge your present based in your past.
Okay.
Right? And that's why you will always be stuck. Because it's like, you gotta give the benefit of the doubt to everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Just because I lost $10,000 in equipment, in photography, 3 years ago. Nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And like, that was because I partnered up with somebody. If I was somebody else, I'd be like, yo, F everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not working with nobody.
Yeah.
But guess what? Not everybody's the same. Because then if you carry that attitude everywhere, you might give that attitude to the wrong person.
And that opportunity.
that one person might be the person that's gonna take it to the next level, and you don't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you never know who knows who either.
Yeah.
Not to say like you have to be goody with everybody because you want something in return, but like you gotta love everybody generally, right?
Yeah.
I can't say like, oh, I haven't gotten mad at some people,
Of course,
or like
of course.
there has been a lot of people that screw me over, and I'm like, man, like, nah, so I'll still love you, right? But I'll move on.
From afar.
And then it's just like, okay, you're there,
Yeah.
I'm here, I know my limits with you.
Right.
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Like, I don't hate you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to borrow my equipment? Cool. Like, yeah, I want to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It is what it
or
is.
like, no, here's a better option. This place rents it out for such and such and such. It might be the same money that you're giving me or less. Do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know now how you work or how you did me dirty. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I always move forward with the mentality of like, I want to be able to give people the benefit of the doubt because I want to be given
Of course.
the benefit of the doubt.
Because we all will like mess up against somebody, right?
Right,
Whether
right,
inadvertently or we just had that kind of like negative moment.
Right.
But you're a massive leader in your community. Like people really look
I
up to
don't
you.
know about that.
He is. And people really look up to this guy because he's so open and he's so willing to help. Like he'll go out of his way to help you. What do you say to people who are going through a hard time and are slowing down and falling back and like depressed, and what do you say?
Talk to my girlfriend.
No, trust me. If you get to know Heather, amazing. Like
No,
that's
but
your person. But yeah, what do you say?
what do I tell people?
On top of talk to my girlfriend.
What do I tell people to what? Say it again.
Who are really going through a
I was
tough
thinking
time.
of my girl.
Like
She's like sitting over there.
people who are really going through a hard time and they hit a brick wall, lots of tragedy, everywhere they turn is like negativity. How do you motivate them? What do you say? How do you draw from your experiences?
Go to the source that has what you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your surroundings are all killing you, right?
Yeah.
For example, I went to the source that had what I wanted,
Yeah.
right? And, which in that point was like that risk that I took, like to Miami, right?
Yeah.
Like I went to that source, right?
Ah.
And it was just like, man, like none of this is working out. I'm gonna go there, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is that you can only get so much from the people that are around you, right? Like you know how they talk about like if you're the smartest person in the room, then you need another room.
You're in the wrong
Yeah.
room.
Well, lately I've been in the right room.
Hey.
Like, because everybody either knows more than me or has more than me, and so
my life.
and so it's like man, like just go to the next level and like don't think that you're not good enough. Like if negativity is all you're getting all around, like everywhere you turn, then if you're getting that because it's like you're reaching out to somebody to help you do something, then do it yourself. Find a way to do it yourself. Like if you are like, yo, I need some this person and that person in order to do this. No, do it yourself. See how it comes out.
Yeah.
Mark, if you don't mind, I want to hear your answer to that question.
To that question?
Yeah. So let's say you have negativity or something's getting in the way or you're giving somebody advice. What do you usually tell somebody?
Well, honestly, I was there when Junior was going through his thing. And my thing is never, like, you have to allow yourself to feel your feelings. I never, ever, like some people say, hustle, just hustle.
Right.
Feel your feelings.
Right.
Because at some point it's going to catch up to you. Like, if you're in the middle of, I just went Jamaican on
Yeah.
it. If you're in the middle of a project, like this is the big project, and your dad dies, and you don't take a second to like step back and feel your feelings, at a certain point, it is going to crumble.
Right.
So I always tell people, feel your feelings. But at the end of the day, like you have to remember what your goal is. And it's it's very, very simple. Is what I'm doing now going to get me to what I want? And if it's not, I have to drop it.
Right.
So experience it, feel it, be very, very present, but at a certain point you have to let it go.
Yeah. I say something very similar. So I always think, what is the outcome? That's what you're saying before.
Yeah.
What is the outcome? What is the goal? And exactly what are you doing right now, physically right now, to get you to the next point? You're always going from point A to point B. Whether it be like relationship-wise, romantic, whether it be you're doing something networking for business, whether you're trying to get better in your skills, or whether you're trying to do something and just better your life.
Yeah.
And there's always something that's going to happen, right?
Of course.
And there's
It's
a plane
life.
of that's just life. And things are going to hit you, sometimes physically and mentally. and things are always in the way, right?
Right.
But it depends on what you're consistently doing to get yourself to the next level. Because honestly, that's how people like us, people behind the scenes, that's how we get to the next level, just by doing something and then keep going with that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, man.
It's true. But Jay, like, so where are you right now? Like, I feel like I'm celebrating for you because, like, it's just the entire trajectory. It's just seeing the whole, like, 360 of, like, you know, I'm celebrating for you, bro. But I know, oh my God. But I know you're not on pause. Like, you're grinding, like literally working around the clock, and now you have a phenomenal support system in Heather and your team and your church. But where are you right now?
Here. Present.
What a great answer.
In the flesh.
you know, we captured you to be here, but
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, even now, like, I mean, there's always challenges. There's always things that are, like, gonna come at you. And my mindset is like, you know what? I'm gonna make it happen. You know what? I'm gonna make it happen. You know what? I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. And self-talk.
Yeah.
Self-talk to yourself. Self-positive talk to yourself. I'm good enough. I will make it. That helps.
We practiced that a lot in our beginning.
We did.
It's a solid foundation, bro.
Yeah.
Don't leave me hanging.
my bad. I had to go for that one. But yeah, man, self-talk. And right now I'm at the point where, like, it was super crazy. Like, in the past, like, couple of weeks, it's been, like, some crazy challenges, bro. And it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's hurtful. But at the end of the day, it's like keeping firm what the vision is and what you want at the end. And, you know, not being, like, I'm at the place right now where I'm, like, choosing to identify what are my better options, right? And not being afraid to just take that risk and just, like, explore that option. If it doesn't work, go back or move forward and, you know, continue. And so, like, because truth is that, like, failures will always teach you something. And, like, you know what the crazy thing is? Like, failure will teach you what you don't know you need to know.
Yes.
Damn, that's cool.
You should put that on a pillow.
I should put it on.
you just
Put it on a hoodie.
On a hoodie.
Yeah.
Boy,
Listen, I want to
write that down on the back, all
Put
right?
that down.
No.
Great.
Right now, like, for example, like today, so big example. Remember Edgar, right?
Yeah.
Went Miami, flew out. After that, the artist loved the photos. After Puerto Rico, loved it. 2 weeks ago, last week actually, he flew me back to Miami to shoot for him. Paid for my hotel, paid for my flight, everything covered. I was there for 2-3 days. It was super dope. Now they want to take me on tour to Europe.
That's great.
So that's great. You know what I mean? And that's amazing, right? But when I was in Miami, I met this other producer, and this producer loved my photos. He was like, yo, man, like, you're a dope BTS photographer, the 100 yards, right? I come back from Miami, everything is good. We're talking, like, the 100 yards. I'm actually going to go to your country.
Are you going to
because of
Jamaica?
Sean
Nice.
Paul is shooting.
Are you shooting with Sean Paul?
Sean Paul.
Sean
Sean
Paul.
Oh my God.
So
Wait, is this a put in work exclusive?
this is put in work.
How he put in the work together.
You know what I'm saying? So then it got to the point where the producer loved my work. He flew into New York today to have like a couple of meetings with. He didn't fly in today. He flew in like 2 days ago. And he came to like have a couple of meetings with this director that is shooting a movie in where is it? Baltimore.
Yeah.
And so he reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, bro, like, I want to bring you on board for this movie, so we want to fly you out to Baltimore for a whole month to shoot with us."
Wow.
And I was like,
That's fun.
So, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I ended up being here because I decided to make a decision to take a flight to Miami
Wow.
and pay myself.
Right.
So
All of that.
It all goes back.
How long ago was that?
This was
December.
April. No,
April.
December was like when I was
The
gonna
initial, the LA.
The initial,
Right.
LA, the 100
Yeah.
yards. That didn't happen. Then it happened in April, and then from April, you know, and so
Can you imagine?
so on and so
You
forth.
know what's a really, really good tip here for people? Let me explain to you. When you're working on a production, these people like to keep the same team because they don't have to reorient you. So if you make a great impression, they will take you everywhere.
Right.
Like because it doesn't make sense like every time you have a new project like to reassemble a team
Right.
or to get a brand new team. They just want to bring back the old crew.
Yeah.
And if they worked great with you, if you had a good attitude on set, if you worked hard at your craft, if you were clean and
If you actually care about
if
the
you
project.
care,
Yeah.
they want to keep the same team. So that's a good tip, right?
And one thing is like never get comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Like let's say you did great the first day,
Yeah.
right? Do better the next time.
Mm-hmm.
If your turnaround for the photos was an hour, do 30 minutes.
And if
You know what
you
I'm
think
saying?
on the first
And
day, if you did better than everybody else, then the next day, how do you feel?
You
How
know,
are you supposed to feel?
you just continue to do better, bro. Like you just continue to work harder because truth is like with the artist for the first time back in Miami, like, and I'm speaking about this event because it's the most recent event.
Sure.
That has like taken like
Yeah.
has me. I've flown maybe 16 times, 17 times just this year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you're always on a plane. Like I see your stories and I'm like, dude, where are you going?
Yeah, so, you know, but it's because and I'm not saying like, I'm not super rich, right? Like, I'm not where I want to be at all, in all sense of the word. But, you know, I'm taking risks. Because truth is that, like, you build, more importantly than anything, like, being successful, like, having an experience. Like, experience all of that. Like, take it in, right?
Yeah.
Because we're so locked in the, oh, I'm going to make it, then I'm going to have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
boy, you might never make it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you have that attitude. So it's like enjoy yourself through the process, right? Like and cherish each and every single moment, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to say was like personality is everything.
Yeah.
Like personality is everything. And then like don't always be so eager to think that like somebody owes you anything. And this is something my boy Edgar was telling me. It was like, man, like you gotta understand that in this business nobody owes you anything.
Yeah.
So you can never expect anything from anybody.
Sure.
Because truth is that like, you know, at the end of the day, if like you think that somebody owes you something because you worked with them one time or anything like that, and moving forward you're like, oh, I worked with them, they should call me back. Wrong attitude.
Yep.
Yeah.
They shouldn't call you back. They don't have any reasons to call you back. If they do call you back, great. You should. You know what I mean? So it's like keeping the attitude of like understanding that you always want to do better. You always want to go to the next level. And when you're on set and you're like working with people or whatever area of your life that is, always over exceed and never be too afraid to be like, oh no, they got like, now they probably already have like photographers. Or when you see a post about an opportunity, no, they probably, people already probably signed up. Maybe you're the one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And talking about the one, like I remember I had this mentality of like I want to meet that person. And after I meet that person, I'm gonna take off. Well, sometimes you might be the person. You know what I'm saying? Like rather than like meeting that one, maybe you are that one. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Become that one. Like just because if somebody hosted an event and you want to be an event hoster, like you don't need to meet them to learn from them. Host your friend's event.
Yeah.
If that's gonna be at your house, host it at your house. If you gotta rent out a bar and you know talk to them and give a little some, you know, do that and then you host the event. Like don't be afraid to just start. Because that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't start. You know what I'm saying? Buying your camera, yeah, cool. But until you start reaching out and take a risk and doing work for free, oh man, you know how many work I did for free?
that right there.
Oh.
That right there to start. So I suppose this is gonna be my final question. This is like the most prevalent question I wanted, so I say it for right now.
I work for free.
So for starting, right? All of us in this room, you know, who's on camera, who's not, screwed up in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because mentality stuff that we talked about before, technical stuff that we talked about before, but really at the beginning. Let's pretend you're a junior who just started out of photography, where you didn't have money to buy also the airplane or whatnot, you didn't have even your camera, you didn't have anything, you're also maybe a little bit shy, you don't really network that much, you don't have that much education, you don't really know how to do anything that you want, but you know that there's this big world of photography that you're trying to do, or videography or anything. What do you do right now today, if you were that person today, to start so you can get results as soon as possible?
Well, work for free. No, I'm kidding. No, reach out to people, right?
Reach out to who?
How would you reach out to people?
Okay. If it was today, right now, right? I just started whatever. Well, I know that I want to shoot models. Okay, where are their models? Well, modeling agencies. Okay, go to their Instagram. Cool.
With the modeling agency's Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay.
Send them an email. Hey, I would like to shoot so many models, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. They don't get back to you. Go on their page. Their models are tagged. Go on the models page. Hit them up. Hey, listen, I have this concept. I love to shoot. Will you be interested?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Send them a mood board. For those of you who don't know what a mood board is, it's a layout of like photos, like representing the concept that you want to do.
Wow. So you're not just like messaging like, hey, can
No,
we
because
team up? Like you're prepared for.
If you
You're
pray
sending
for it,
them
prepare
something.
for it.
Wow.
Right? Like
Okay.
you can't just be let's shoot.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
a lot of people do
Yeah.
that, and then they end up nowhere. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, this is the concept. I want to do a black and white,
Yeah.
jean on jean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Denim on denim.
Double down. Yeah.
Boom. I want to do it in the studio. I have 2 hours. Can we shoot this? This is the photos I want to shoot.
Wow.
Oh, great. I like your concept. Let's do it. Bet. When do you want to do it? Saturday. What works best? Between 2 and 5. Great. Let's do 4 o'clock.
Ooh.
That's great.
And,
And
of
then-
course, you get way more results that way than
And then-
saying, can
and then-
we shoot together?
And then that person likes your work
Yeah.
or not, right? Or likes your personality or whatever. Your work might be great or might not be that great, right? But you learn that stuff. And then if she likes it, oh man, like I had this photographer I just shot with last week. Shoot him. You know, I don't know what his rates are, but you know. And then they're like, hey, such and such referred me to you. Da da da. Said that your work is great. Would love to shoot with you.
Wow.
And then you build a clientele.
Mm.
And remember, word of mouth is what gets you business.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to
But
have a good personality.
just really quick on that for the people who are listening. Word of mouth comes after you've really built the following. You build the ambassadors.
Not even like word of mouth could be just like you never watched.
You
the
mean like
movie.
referrals?
Referrals?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
word
okay,
of mouth.
okay.
Like whatever last thing you did, you refer to. Like if you go
Yeah.
to the movies
Okay, okay.
and somebody goes, "Yo, how was the movie?" You go, "Yo, that movie was sick."
Uh-huh.
Oh, why? That person gonna go buy a ticket, watch the movie,
Okay. Fair enough.
Bring
and
a
you
friend.
just made business for the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to understand that like everything is word of mouth. So you wanna do every job like it's your last job.
Yeah.
So let's say with that example that you just gave, in terms of okay, we're gonna search for a model agency. That is a great idea, by the way.
Or whatever
Or whatever.
scenario or platform you're in. Like if you want to do
Mhm.
baby showers, like go to somebody's page that does baby showers and freaking be like, hey, I would love to shadow you or connect with you or like do your next event and just come and help you out.
Now,
Just to kind of get the insights
Yeah.
of how decorating a baby
Or like
shower
a wedding
looks like.
planner. If you
Or
get
like
in with a wedding planner,
Yeah, just
then
hey, I would love to shadow you, come and help you. Because the truth is that you can't start charging for something that you don't have a portfolio for.
Mhm.
done.
There you go. Not but, and one of the biggest, let's say, setbacks that I would think on the top of my head, if I were to think of myself when I was brand new in terms of just life and business, is that cool? I'm gonna reach out to this place, that place. I'm gonna go and reach out to somebody, but you know what? I'm actually gonna reach out, and several people are gonna say no to me. And I'm gonna
That's
reach out
okay.
again, and they're gonna say no. And they're gonna reach out again, and they're gonna say no. So how many people,
Oh,
what
man.
places should I reach out to
You know how many people left me on
before I
scene?
don't?
You know how many people left me on scene? Boy, I was hurt. I was like, don't you leave me on scene. I'll unsend the message. Unsend. You never.
Like, I
No.
take my message back.
Literally. You know you could do that?
No, I did not.
You can't do that.
Yeah, you could unsend a message. Sometimes I might send something to my girlfriend and now I'm like, I don't want to send it. Take that back.
No.
But I don't actually do that. But never done it.
You were also telling me about these like meetups. How does
Meetups.
that go?
Well, that's
Another
that's
practical
died
tip
down
you
by now.
guys.
It's so saturated by
Yeah.
now. But like you have like there's a lot of photographers within New York City. Like there's portrait pages. I was gonna say portrait faces. Portrait pages that do like Instagram meetups. Like
Okay.
they'll meet at a certain location. A whole bunch of like models and like influencers who come, and then a whole bunch of photographers who come, and then they all just collab and do like a whole bunch of photo shoots throughout like for several hours. And then they like put those pictures up, tag the models. Models do the same, put the pictures up, tag the photographers, and it's like a creative
Yeah.
concept. It happened a lot in the last like past 2 years, but like now it's getting.
Why do you think that's happening?
It's because it got oversaturated. Because truth, and I don't mean to shade on anybody, but everybody thinks now that they're a model. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody in the internet.
But that's a
now is
great thing, bro. Because
Whoa,
because the inter.
Wait, there's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Let's learn.
Like there's a difference between a model and somebody who is just photogenic.
Who thinks they're pretty?
Or just because you're pretty, you know that like I've shot at really like
Average
good looking people
Okay.
Stereotypical.
and they look ugly
Yeah.
in photos.
Oh, amazing looking people, but they just don't. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's just
translate
like-
on camera.
Because modeling is not about being cute. Modeling is about attitude.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, you could take a really man, no, let's not go there. But like
Yeah.
point being is I'm just saying
Yeah.
there's a lot of Instagram models now, and I don't mean to like shade on anybody. That's cool.
He's
You're trying to
shading.
make trying to make business. I respect that.
Great.
But yeah, like it's now oversat. That it faded because now everybody.
Okay. So what else can
be in
people do?
yeah.
So they can reach out to modeling agencies, models themselves, put together a portfolio.
They cannot stop also until they get a response, or until they get some sort of 20 or 30 or 100 kind of like
Put it like this.
emails.
Whether you get a response or not, send out 5 to 10 DMs a day.
Alright.
DMs or emails.
No problem.
Consistent.
What
Just
other
do it.
practical pointers can you give to up and coming photographers, videographers?
Learn what you think you shouldn't know.
Okay.
Like, just because you're a videographer doesn't mean that you can't learn about composition in terms of photography. You know what I'm saying? Because it might help you.
Yeah.
Just because you're a photographer doesn't mean you can't learn about graphic design. You can still do it in Photoshop. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know when the opportunity might come. Because nowadays, like, the way it's working is people who are, like, the talent, right? Or whether that's an artist, whether that's a model, whether that's, like, an influencer, whether that's just, like, a famous person, they're not looking to have too many people on the road.
Yeah.
Like, if an artist going on tour, he's not looking to have a graphic designer, a photographer, a videographer that, you know, like, he's not looking to have, like, 20 people. That's just for his creative crew. Because then they're going to need 2 tour buses. He needs 1 to 2 people that can get the job done.
Ah,
Right.
okay.
You
So
know
being
what I'm
multifaceted is like,
Be a person that you can be a person that can be used in multiple ways. Like if they go, yo, we need a quick edit, a recap video of the show last night. Cool, I got you.
done.
Where are the photos? You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to like have them. See, and I'm not saying like do everything. I'm not. Well, yes, do everything. Don't overwhelm yourself, but learn it.
So
Because once you know it, then when you're out and doing it, you'll find a way to balance both.
So with what you said before, have your own style, generate your own style,
Yeah.
but also be interested in what's around you, what's relevant.
Yeah, bro, because knowledge is power.
Wow, Junior, thank you so much, brother.
Always.
This was absolutely amazing. Where can people find you? At his house?
Find me at the corner.com. No.
What was it?
Find me at the corner.com.
Okay.
Yeah. No, my website is juniorjimenez.net. I know com was taken, so I had to use it.
Yeah! Go to juniorjimenez.com.
No, it's juniorjimenez.net. Oh, who took
Who
it?
took
I
that?
don't know.
You
That's
need to find that
I need
person.
to find him.
Yeah. That's it. It's
but
a
yeah.
wrap for you, buddy.
Yeah, and Instagram, Misfits, MisfitX, MSFITX. I think I put that right. And then on Facebook, Junior Jimenez.
Dude.
I won't say the other website because I can't really talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, alright. That's how you know he's doing big things. To come. Can't talk about it. Dude, thank you so much for coming through the podcast. Thank you so much to our viewers and our listeners.
Right.
Thank you to the entire cast and crew, and that's a wrap.